Well, today I am really honored to have a great friend of the Clum family with me and Tommy, Harold Fahrenbrook. Harold Fahrenbrook is a guy that we've known for, I don't know, maybe 20 years or so.
20
I
plus,
met him in
yeah.
the old shop. We did business together back then, and we kind of hit it off in a lot of ways. And over the years, we've gotten a lot closer to Harold. I've heard so many amazing stories from Harold. He's been a professional guide in Alaska for 42 years. We in parts of this discussion is how he got his start as a 13, 14-year-old kid getting dropped off in the wilderness alone for 3 days at a time, and what he experienced with doing that, and how he found the love of being in the backcountry even all by himself. This is a man, as far as most of the attributes of a person that I admire greatly. This is the toughest individual I know. This is the best bow hunter I know. This is the most skilled, most experienced. I don't have enough platitudes for this guy, and the amount of respect for Harold that I have. But it's my great pleasure to share some of, let Harold share some of his stories with the folks that watch this channel. And I really hope you enjoy it. I know you will. So, we'll get started. And we've got you've had another experience this year it's turned out to be devastating in a lot of ways. It could have been a lot more devastating.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But we'll start off with a story of the brown bear hunt that you were guiding and what happened then. And I'm going to ask you to tell a couple of the other close calls, because Harold's had more experience with brown bears and having to use a firearm and having to save somebody's life with brown bears and a grizzly bear than anybody that I've ever read about. So let's just start with that. Tell them about what happened.
Well, as far as that intro goes, right back at you guys. I always considered the Clums and the reputation you guys had, which brought me down to your old shop on Sheridan, or Pecos there, these guys, they live, sleep, drink, everything archery, and which sound like my kind of people. And the accomplishments you guys have had, all of you had. I beg to differ. Some of the best bow hunters out there. I'm part of that class, but don't cut yourself short. You guys are, you've not only very instrumental in the archery industry yourself as far as hunters, but as far as having the shop, having the camaraderie all your people have with anybody that walks through that shop. One of the biggest compliments I think I heard from you guys, or from somebody, was Mike Palmer. Back early in the time, back at your old shop, Mike Palmer said, you knew who Mike Palmer was and you would love to have his bows. Well, Mike Palmer don't sell retail. And I talked to Mike, I'm good friends with him, and said, well, I can get Mike to your shop. I can get Fred Eichler to your shop. I can get some people down there. And so I'm saying this story because of what Mike said about you guys. He walks in there, he's Mike Palmer. We're supposed to go out to lunch. Danny's there, you're there, and it's like, and I'm like, well, man, here's Mike, and you come over and you're like, Mike, this place was empty just a couple minutes ago. Now we got a bunch of customers in here. We're gonna have to take care of them and talk to them a little bit. So I'm looking at Mike's body language, like he'll get irritated. If you know anything about Mike, he don't have much of a tolerance for too much of anything. And so about a half hour later, you finally were able to break free. And just before you came over to break free, he comes over to me and I'm like, man, I'm sorry about this. I'm sure they are too. He goes, if he wasn't taking care of those customers over there, I wouldn't let him sell my bows. He goes, this is the best resume that he could have done. If he would have turned his back on those simple people that walked off the street, he goes, I wouldn't have wanted him to sell my bows. He goes, so I'm glad this happened, and I'll wait as long as it takes. So that was a testament to how Rocky Mountain Specialty Gear treats anybody that walks through the door. So I'd like to lead with that.
Thank you.
The other thing is, as far as what happened to me, and I'll probably give you guys some pictures of some of the surgeries I had and what it looked like, but I was guiding this spring, had an awesome season. I had 5 clients. All 5 of my brown bear clients got their bears. The last client, I had a bow hunter. He shot a brown bear, And Alaska is kind of different. So he shot it like at 1 o'clock in the morning. But 1 o'clock in the morning in Alaska in June is about what it's like here at 8:30. It's dusk, but you still see 100 yards. And so he shot this bear, made a great hit on it. But it's a jungle. And so we're waiting for this bear to expire. And we know he's going to expire. I know where the arrow hit. I know it's going to be dead. At least I feel it is. And we wait so now when it gets to 2 o'clock in the morning, that's the darkest it is. Well, now I'm not going to be able to pick up blood. So it's just wait till it starts getting light again. So like 3:30 in the morning, it starts getting light again. We start looking for this bear, and we're having a little bit of a tough time. Bears don't like to bleed anyways. They got that undercoating of hair, and then they got the rest of their hair, so they don't like to bleed. And he's not bleeding, and we're having a tough time. So I got a hold of the outfitter I work for, Jonah, and say, hey, we might need some help with this one. And he's a really good tracker, really good eyes for blood. I always thought I was too, but compared to him, yeah, he picks up stuff that I don't. I sometimes pick up stuff that he don't, but between two of us, a pretty good chance of finding a bear. And Jonah really got the ball going with finding some stuff that we lost, and it took off a different direction than what we thought it did. And what it ended up being was another bear. Right after we shot this, had that bear run by him, and he took off and gave us the illusion that was the sound. So at any rate, we got on the right track. We found this bear. But it had been half eaten by another brown bear. That's never happened to me before. And so the client still wants his bear, nice skull, want the claws. I mean, but and they really have no choice. And so I got to skin this bear now, which is no big deal. You got to skin the bear. So I skinned the bear, but Jonah's walking back with the client and to do some paperwork and stuff back at the plane. And so anyway, I think it was transfer of possession or something like that. But at any rate, I hear the plane fly off, and my client's supposed to be coming back. And he's a real good client. He's tough as nails. I ain't worried about him coming back, but it's always easier to skin a bear if somebody's holding a paw, keeping it rigid, or any animal. And plus, it was being eaten 3 hours before we got, maybe 10 minutes before we got there. We only let it set for 3 hours, and it was already half eaten.
Wow.
So we know there's a bear that's claimed this thing. And so I'm in there, kind of got my head on a swivel, and I let my client have the pistol, that I wear on my chest. It's this chest harness.
You carry a Glock 20, 10 millimeter.
Yeah, and but I had a Ruger 375 that I also keep with me. And I had that leaning against a tree about 10 feet away. 10 feet don't seem that far. That's 3 big steps maybe, but it ended up being a little too far and I gave my client the pistol so that he had something when he came back. Well, all of a sudden I look up and the bear's, how he got there without me seeing him, I don't know how he got there, but he's right there. He lunges at me.
How far away was he when you saw him?
10 feet. And like I say, it's a jungle in there.
Yeah.
And I was hearing something, but I'd look and I didn't see anything. So then he lunged and landed on top of the dead bear, which I was straddling, skinning. So I fell backwards on my ass, and it's this instant reaction. When you're falling backwards, you put your hands behind you. Well, my instant reaction as I was falling back, I reached for my chest to grab my pistol. And the feeling that came over me when that wasn't there was
horror.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was horrible. So I land, and now he has his front legs over the top of the bear I was skinning, and when he hit the bear with his body, the dead bear, it went over the top of my right foot a little bit. And so he's straddled me. His chin is over my crotch, and I'm like this, and he has me if he wants me, and he's looking like above me. He won't make eye contact with me. And then I grab my knee with both my hands and kind of try to slowly pull my foot up from underneath the dead bear. And then the bear moved and he looked at my knee, looked at my foot. I'm like, he's going to grab my knee. He's going to grab me right now. And instead he moved his paws from the other side of the bear to on top of the bear and just started pounding on it. And as he was doing that, I'm just crawling backwards slowly as I can back to my bow. And he's still just, now he's making eye contact with me, but he's just on top of the bear, kind of like, this is my bear, get the hell out of here. And at that point, I didn't have the feeling he was still going to charge me. And I finally got to my rifle, shouldered it, and then I felt good. I mean, he's going to lose that battle now. But when I did that, I ended up poking my finger with my Havalon knife. When I put my hands behind me to break my fall, I poked my thumb. It went in like a 1/4 inch deep and maybe a 1/4 inch cut. But what happened after then I finished skinning the bear, threw it in my backpack.
Yeah, so that bear ran off.
He ran off. And then what was funny is I got it in my backpack, and now I'm still pissed at my client. I get back, there's my client 25 feet up in a tree. And I'm like, what the heck happened here? He
Why
goes,
were you using that pistol?
yeah, I was like, he's like, Harold, he goes, I got halfway to you, and this bear, the giant bear was on the trail, started charging me, and I made it back here.
He's just defending himself?
Yeah, so he had no choice. So he's in reaching my client, saying, "Hey, tell Harold that there was a bear on the trail and to be careful." And yeah, so any rate, so it had to be the same bear.
Yeah.
But any rate, so everything's good now. Now I know why he wasn't there with me, is because he saw the same bear I did. But any rate, I cut my thumb, no big deal. Washed my hand off in the river and put a Band-Aid on it. And he still has another bear to hunt, and he shot another really big bear 2 days later.
Well, you survived an amazingly close call.
Oh, that was.
I mean, what's one of the most dangerous things? A bear on a food source.
Yeah, and it's the first time I've been charged by a bear in 19 years that I wasn't armed.
Yeah.
I mean, I instantly out of react
And you've saved yourself with that pistol a couple times, haven't you?
Oh yeah. There was. Oh yeah.
We'll get to those stories.
Yeah, but at any rate, then I get back. My thumb's red. It's kind of pussy. I can squeeze pus out of the hole, and didn't think much of it. Then I fly home maybe a week later, and my girlfriend picks me up, and she's like, "Okay, we're going to urgent care. Something's messed up here." Urgent care looked at it, and then 2 days later, I was having emergency surgery on my hand. And it's called Sealfinger, which I think is a sorry ass name for what I'm going through here. But that's what they call it. And the last case was in 1907. And what it does, it's from a bear eating a harbor seal. And the harbor seals are getting further and further closer to those rivers because they're waiting for the salmon to get in them. And apparently this bear must have got into one that year, maybe even the year before, but this parasite gets in their intestines. Well, I never mess with the intestines when I skin a normal bear. This thing was half eaten, so intestine juice was everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what got into my hand. And so, 11 days in the hospital, 3 hand surgeries, and it went from my hand to my hip to my knee.
This is a bacteria
that
they haven't even seen since 1907 that lives in the intestine of a harbor seal. The bear your client killed ate the harbor seal, had it in his intestine.
Yeah.
And just the poor luck of having that bear half eaten by another bear,
and then me poking
exposing
myself,
that bear bacteria, and then an accidental poke exposed you to that bacteria that nobody's seen since 1907.
Correct. Yeah.
And this is a bacteria that's virtually impossible to kill. It's very specific, and you told me how the CDC
really
saved
tough.
your life by finding this bacteria eventually.
Infectious disease, found a needle in a haystack. I had people at church praying for me, had family and friends praying for me. Friends I haven't heard from in eons. Somehow the word got out, and I getting stuff in the mailbox. Hey man, hope you're recovering. We got prayers heading your direction, and I strongly 100% feel that's why infectious disease got something planted a seed in her head to look the direction she did. Other than she's an extremely smart woman, she found this because up to that point I was on a PICC line. And a PICC line, if nobody knows what it is, it's where they can stick an IV antibiotics without having to stick you every single day. This is something you go home with.
Just leave a port. That's
so every single day for like 3 weeks, I had to drive all the way back into Denver, get IV antibiotics, sit there for 45 minutes till the bag was empty. But it was kicking the shit out of my liver and my kidneys. And they said, you can't stay on this. I mean, what's more important, your hand or your liver? I mean, this is really getting.
We're looking at amputating your hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting crunch time. And she found it in time, and thank God for prayers and thank God for God and the whole darn bit, because it was instrumental for me to be where I'm at right now with a left hand. So
Incredible. So they found the right antibody. Go ahead, Tommy.
What was it that she found?
it's here's the name of it right here.
Was it a medicine?
It's a the antibiotic is a real simple antibiotic. Ivermectin, I think is what it is. And then, but
they weren't using that. They were using
No.
stronger stuff, no doubt.
they were using the stronger stuff, and every time they would take me off it, my hand would blow up. Thus, another surgery.
Yeah, let alone your hip and your knee.
Yeah. So, and the bad stuff they have in there is, I mean, the IV antibiotics, it kills good stuff and bad stuff. And so it was destroying me. I had internal bleeding, which here, this leads to something else. So where they took the PICC line out, I ended up with 2 blood clots.
Oh, man.
And from where the PICC line, well, that PICC line is a direct channel to your heart. That PICC line goes all the way to your heart. That's how they dump the stuff in. And so I have 2 blood clots, and they got to put me on blood thinners. Well, they can't put me on blood thinners because I'm bleeding internally, and I got a scheduled surgery that following Wednesday because they got to get the infection out of my knee and do a knee surgery. So I can't go on thinners. Well, what that allowed the blood clot to do is get longer and bigger, and I have to go in for another ultrasound to see if it's to the point that it would have to be cut out. So, yeah, my left arm is killing me all the time because it's just turned into a pain in the ass. So it was a domino effect, but it's called septus something. This disease that this is. But at any rate, so.
It's an infection that goes throughout your body and then finds a home somewhere like your hip and your knee.
Yeah.
And starts destroying your knee.
Anything that has cartilage or tendons, it goes in there and destroys it. And I'll show you. Let's show Tom here real quick. So that's what they had in my hand.
Holy mackerel. Yeah, Steve, we'll get a picture of this to add to the video here.
So I got 4 tubes in my hand where all the stuff's draining out of it. Yeah, it turned into, and then here's my PICC line up in your armpit area that goes right to your heart. 3 weeks of that stuff. So it kicked me in the ass. I've had a lot of injuries in my life, but it's always something broken. I know what to expect. I know the rehab involved. This thing here, I'm at the mercy of doctors and God. So,
yeah.
at any rate, this one here is threw me for a loop. So,
I think that woman.
Ivermectin cleared it up.
Yep. Well, we hope so. It still ended up in my hip and my knee. So there's the verdict's still out on that. So,
But they've had to go in surgically and literally scrape that infection
scrape that
of
out.
there,
Yeah.
which has just hammered your knee.
Yep. And my hand. My hand is a big, huge issue. So.
But they were able to at least repair a cartilage or meniscus tears that you had in
Yeah,
there.
while they were in there.
While they were in there.
Yeah, so that was a silver lining. They got some other stuff that I've just been, take some Advil when I get back to my 2-man tent, after guiding sheep all day. My knees bother me. It's kind of swollen up a little bit, but I'm used to that. I'm going to have a complete LCL tear, a complete MCL tear that I never got fixed.
Yeah, so they can't repair it now.
No, I was too old of injuries, but my meniscus tear, they were able to clean it up and put a pin on both sides of the tear. So they got some stuff that needed to be repaired while they were in there too.
Yeah.
So,
But you still can't hike and still can't walk and you still have a lot of pain.
yeah, and it's instant arthritis. What they tell me what this is, and they need research being done on it. And I might even give this to Steve to post as well if people are interested in it. And that's what I was looking for on my phone, the name of this thing. Is it gets into your joints and it gives you, like a 20-year-old kid, if he got it, it'd be the same thing as getting arthritis of a 90-year-old man.
Holy mackerel.
It's instant and it doesn't come back. So this is what I got.
Yeah. So this is the first year in 42 years you haven't gone to Alaska in the fall to guide because of this.
Yeah, this would have been my 19th year with Jonah guiding Dall sheep in the fall. And I get cabin fever really easy. I'm in the outdoors as much as anybody I know. And I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
And it's an ass kicker. I don't.
And you can't do your taxidermy work because of.
No, I'm just getting to the point where I can tie my shoes tight enough to where they won't come untied 5 minutes later.
Wow.
To be able to use my thumb and my finger. Putting on a sock is a big ordeal. I got to do it with one hand, but
Yeah.
well, we'll see what happens.
You've been through some injuries and healed for some injuries that would flabbergast most people. And, we may get to some of those, but this has been the one that's really taking you out for right now.
Yeah, you wanted to get into another bear deal with my Glock. I had a deal where I was packing out a stinky moose. We couldn't find this moose for a while, and finally found it. We're packing it out. It's in my backpack. I got a hind quarter in my backpack, and all the young packers, I wanted to make a shortcut through the alders, and I could see from the other side of the mountain this patch of alders that if I could find that patch, I could save myself a mile of hiking with a hind quarter on my back, which is a big deal.
This is a huge amount of weight.
And so, any rate, I'm cussing. I'm like, I made the wrong decision. I'm getting hung up on everything. Finally get through these alders and I find this spot. So now I know where I'm at. Now I can walk 200 yards in a spot. There's no alders for 200 yards, 30 yards wide. Well, all of a sudden I hear something behind me crashing through the alders, like big time crashing. I'm thinking bear. I fall to my ass, grab my pistol, and a cow moose steps out and her calf. Actually, it wasn't a calf, it was a yearling or a calf from the year before. And she's all lathered up and she collapses. She sees me and she collapses. 10 yards from me, she collapses. And the yearling was still standing on all fours, acting like it wasn't that big a deal. And then she saw me and then she tried to get up and then couldn't get up. She's just been ran exhausted. Well, it's moose season. I mean, the rut's going on. I'm like, she's got a yearling with her, so maybe she's in season,
Yeah.
It's not a calf. And she's been run ragged here.
You think the bulls are running ragged?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So anyway, she finally, after resting a little bit, she got up, went about 30 yards to my left and collapsed again. She couldn't go. She just couldn't go. Well, then I hear crashing coming again. I'm like, well, here comes the bull. And I mean, it's thrashing, it's coming, knocking over alders like crazy. And I'm like, well, it's not a bull because I'm not hearing the horns coming through the alders. So I'm like, yeah, shoot. And thank God I did, because what stepped out was a grizzly bear. And that's what they do. They get those moose in those alders, and they just have so much more stamina, so much more muscle that they can.
They'll exhaust those moose to
exhaust
kill
them to the point they just walk up to them and eat them while they're alive.
I never knew that.
And well, that's what I'm assuming was about to happen with this, because that's what he could have done.
Right.
And he steps out, and just seeing his body language and the eye contact, I know it was a case of mistaken identity. I smell like moose. I got a hind quarter on my back. And he catches movement. The moose where he's standing now is where the moose couldn't go any further and collapsed the first time. So everything smells like moose. He sees movement. He comes, he lunges at me, and I boom, 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 shot. And I think I'm a good shot. It's less than 10 feet away. I'm aiming at his head, and I end up hitting it in the bicep. And he went down on his shoulder, and then as he's running off, I'm just emptying my clip on him, and I could see his front leg just spinning like a helicopter, so I knew I broke his leg. But if I wouldn't have been armed there, I would have been eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been eaten. And then you mentioned one when you first got here about my very first one was with a really good friend of mine, Chris Gimbraco. And he's been to your shop before. In fact, this was there recently. But at any rate, he booked a Dall sheep hunt with Jonah, and it was an archery hunt. And we're up there, and it started off really unique. So it's one of my favorite stories. We get across the river, and it looked like there's 2 beavers in the river. And then I could see it was two cubs, and then their mom was on the river bank waiting for them. And they get over there to them. They're on the same side of the river we're on, and she doesn't want nothing to do with us. She sees them too. She barks at her 2 cubs. They go running towards her. We're walking out across the tundra here, and then the next thing I know, I got 2 little grizzly bear cubs right at my feet. And they're probably maybe 15, 20 pounds. And I mean, they're that year's.
Your first year cubs, yeah.
And she barks at them again, and they go running back to her. Well, now we're climbing in sheep country. And it's really she's getting closer because they're just curious. She's getting closer, and I don't want nothing to do with that sow with her cubs. And so when I say serious, she's 25 yards from us now. So now I got my pistol out, and I don't have it's my belt was too wide to put the holster on my belt, so I'm just carrying it in my hand. Now we're getting up into the rocks where I'm having to climb, and I put it up on a rock, and then I'd climb up to it, put it up on a rock, climb up to it, and once we got in that stuff, the cubs quit chasing us, following us, and then my client goes, hey, my belt's a lot narrower. I can put that on my belt. Okay, yeah, that'd be handy. And so he put on his belt. He's carrying my pistol now. And we get out of the alders. We get above there. We finally find the sheep, and they moved on us. Well, it took us 3 hours to get there. We're not going to go back to our main camp. So we have the emergency blankets. A lot of us carry up there, whatever. So now we look like a couple of breakfast burritos up on the hillside, waiting until the next morning. And so Chris, I'm like, we're going to sleep that night. I'm like, Chris, where's the pistol? He goes, it's still on it's underneath my backpack. All right. So he's using a backpack as a pillow. I get up before he does that morning. I got the spotting scope on those sheep, and I say, hey, Chris, you need to get up. Those sheep are rolled over the edge, and I know that country over there. We're going to go kill a ram.
We can get on one. Yeah.
We need to roll.
He's bow hunting, or
he's
red
bow
hunting?
hunting.
Okay.
And I look up, and here's a grizzly bear. We're just in his line of path. He doesn't know we're there, and Chris has a grizzly bear tag too. Well, I don't want to scare the grizzly bear aware, and he's already in bow range. He's already 50 yards away, and he's coming right to us. I go, Chris, we got a bear coming. Grab your bow. And I go going over to. And he was getting ready because I told him he had to get ready to go get those sheep. So he's doing stuff with his backpack over there. Well, I go crawling on my hands and knees because I don't want to scare the bear. The bear sees me, but I don't think he recognizes me being human because I'm on my hands and knees. I hear my client scream, Chris scream. I hear my tripod that had my spotting scope on it crash down. And I just get to the backpack. I throw it up thinking there's going to be a pistol there, and there's no pistol there. But when I threw the backpack up, the bear hit my arm and grabbed the backpack instead of me, thank God. And
Where's Chris?
And Chris, he's already having the dry heaves. He's like going into shock.
Yeah.
And the bear gets a hold of the backpack and just starts thrashing the living shit out of it, and just shaking it back and forth. And I stand up, and I had that aluminum foil thing that makes a lot of noise, those space blankets. And I start waving that thing, and and he's like, "Oh, geez, where'd you guys come from?" And he didn't want nothing to do with being there no more. Thank God, he took off running. And I'm like, Chris, where the F is that pistol? And it ended up being inside his day pack, inside his backpack, So I never would have got to it. So needless to say, he never got to carry the pistol again. But so that was another close call that if he wanted me, he had me. Because the other time I was not armed.
He grabbed the backpack as easily as grabbed you.
Oh yeah, it ended up being
Could have been you getting thrashed around.
It could have been. Yeah, he just grabbed the backpack instead.
I can't imagine two closer calls than you've had right there.
Yeah, those were, and the closest calls I've had is both times I was unarmed. So.
I think
Harold,
you told the story.
I gotta ask a question. What do you mean you have the dry heaves going into shock? What happens to a person in that situation?
I don't know. I don't know if it's any different than just going into shock. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't throwing up anything. I mean, he's just over there he's ghostly white. He's just, gone into, scared the shit out of him.
Incredibly
That's what happens to
traumatic.
people?
I don't know. I've had another client, another situation, kind of almost do the exact same thing. Just freeze. Just absolutely freeze.
Which is a defense response. It's an autonomic action.
I mean, nowadays, I think people learned how to just take pictures with their cell phones when something's going on. Like somebody could get their ass kicked in a parking lot, being ganged up on 10 to 1, and you think somebody would jump in and try to help.
Yeah.
Hell no. Nowadays, everybody's just doing this with their cell phones. They want to be, but I think that's just either got it or you don't. I don't think badly of the person.
He had no control over that.
No, it's just an emotion that he's never experienced it before. And at that point, that was my first bear attack. And I don't know how I'd have reacted had he got a hold of me. But I knew I had enough sense to me and enough, focus that I crawled to the backpack to get the pistol.
Yeah.
And if I would have got the pistol, I would have shot that bear. And I know I would have shot that bear.
Yeah.
There would have been no question in my mind. I didn't because I didn't get the pistol.
Yeah.
But thank God he was content with the backpack. So.
Now, That's pretty horrifying stuff for anybody. Have one huffing right over your head for crying out, right
Well,
over
the
your
one this
crotch.
year, yeah, I didn't like that one too much. He's right above my crotch, and he sees my knee move when I pull my foot up underneath that bear, and I just thought for sure he's going to grab my knee and throw me around like a rag doll.
And you kind of end up injuring you severely anyway,
In a roundabout way,
in a roundabout way.
yeah. Yeah, let me tell you one about when I shot my brown bear. I took a really bad fall in Alaska. I mean, in Kansas. Kansas has kicked my ass, so I had to go to a 45-pound bow, but it was the only year I could hunt brown bear with Jonah. I already guided a couple clients to earn the right to be able to guide to hunt one myself, and Jonah's my guide. And we see these two brown bears, giant boars, chasing this sow around. And they're getting in like bloodthirsty fights. Hair flying, blood, everything.
That must have been awesome to see.
Oh man, the roaring is just insane. Well, finally, there's a loser, or one that gave up, and he leaves. Well, now the boar goes over to his sow, and they're on this thing like this island that's surrounded by where the water's receded. There's all this tall grass. And I know he's in there. I can't see him, but I know he's in there. It's not that big. It's only an area of about 60 yards, circle. So I know they're in there bedded down. So I get in. So I happen to use a 45-pound bow, and I'm normally using a 70-pound bow. That's just how it was back in the day. Everybody had 70-pound bows.
Yeah.
But I couldn't because of my shoulder. And 50-pound bow. So, any rate, I'm walking up there, and I see the kill zone of a brown bear, like 10 yards in front of me. And the bear's laying like this. He's laying, and I can totally see, but I don't know if this is the boar or the sow. So I'm like, God, I just need a little more elevation here to see. I'm committed now. I mean, something's going
But
to happen.
Jonah's not with you right now, right?
He can't be. It's hard enough for one person to be sneaky, you know. I mean, he's close, but he's not there. He wouldn't be able to do anything, you know. That's how it is when you got a bow hunter. Plus, there's a little more confidence level when, you know, I'm a guide, you know, whatever. So there's this stump there that was kind of dry rotted, but I thought if I could step on that stump and give me just enough elevation, maybe I could see if that was the boar or not. And I step on this stump and got a little more elevation, and laying to my left was the sow. Not 3 yards away, 3 feet away. She's laying there, and those two other boars had been chasing her so bad, she was beyond exhausted, almost like the moose being chased so hard. This one here was lathered up, it looked like she had shaving cream on her. And thousands of mosquitoes around her eyelids and her nose and her lips. And I'm like, okay, well, now I know that's the boar. Mm-hmm. And my whole idea was to shoot him, drop my bow, grab my pistol. And I don't think I even got that bow to full draw. I don't know. I killed the brown bear. It was a really nice brown bear. And I hit him. I mean, it helps me to be tunnel visioned where nothing but bushes in a jungle, and all I can see is where I need to hit. You know, it helps me, you know, focus, or you can't help but pick a spot. That's the only spot you can see. Yeah. So I went back and shot him, and it looked like I didn't get very much penetration. In the millionth of a second that it all happened. And he's roaring, doing somersaults, biting at where the arrow went in. She stands up on her hind legs and she's watching, and I'm already ready. And
she's point blank to you, but she's looking at the boar.
She's looking at the boar, and I think she's thinking that other boar came back and they're fighting again.
Yeah.
She comes down on all fours, but she came down on all fours. She came down on top of my bow, and she's smelling my riser. She's smelling everything about my bow, and I mean, I just got it right here. And if she would have turned to look at me, I would have had no choice.
Yeah.
And the bear at that point quit doing somersaults and then took off, and there was a little canal right there, and ran through that and splashed. She heard it, and she took off the direction he went. So like that close. So
incredible.
Yeah, that's why I always bring an extra pair of underwear with me on those trips. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the bear stuff.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Have you ever had to dispatch one with that pistol?
The one that I told you I broke the bicep on.
Right.
He
That's the only one.
he didn't make it. I haven't got to shoot anything with my rifle yet that's made for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all been my 10
Is it a
millimeter.
375 Ruger?
Yeah, the 375
Yeah,
Ruger.
that's what Tyler Friel carries.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
an
saw him
awesome
move a
musket.
black bear back about 3 feet from about 3 yards once. That bear wouldn't stop,
Yeah,
and he had to shoot it.
yeah. Black bears are aggressive. I've had them bite me. I mean, get a hold of my boot.
Really?
I had one time. It was kind of unique. I was climbing a tree. My client had a branch that was in his shooting lane, and so the bears, when you get there, Alaska's different. They hear the plane land, and you're flying above it. From the plane, you can look down and see how much dog food's left at the pate. Mm-hmm. And when they hear the plane coming, it looks like ants. They'll go running to the bait. You get there, there's a half dozen bears sitting there waiting for you, literally slapping at the dog food bag as you're sorting it out. And you scare them off, and they run up the trees. And they ran up the trees, and there was this like a couple 250-pound boars, 2-3-year-old boars, ran up the tree. And I poured out all the dog food, and everything's good. Went over there, get my client. He's up there, and he goes, "Man, that one branch has really bothered me. I couldn't have shot that bear or that bear when they came into the bait." Like, well, okay, we're here to hunt brown bear. We need to get rid of that thing. So I have to go climb that other tree. So I took a couple footsteps out of the one tree we were in, stuck him in that one so I could get up to the crotch of this tree. Well, when the bear saw, and I'm doing that as black bear are on the bait. Well, I think now they think they've treed me because they always do false charges.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when I
It's
got up that
common
tree,
business, false charges.
he hauled ass up that tree thinking he was treeing me.
Yeah.
And he got a hold of the back part of my boot there. And I fortunately had the 10-inch Carset wrench in my back pocket.
Yeah. You whack him on the head.
Right on top of the muzzle. You could hear the client said you could hear it echo for like forever. And just right across the muzzle, and he just fell over backwards at the bottom of the tree there, But yeah, he just thought he treated me. It was just one of those deals. But yeah, black bear can be pretty aggressive
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh.
So, but
Amazing.
yeah, mostly I've been I love guiding Alaska. I take 2 months off every year to go do it.
Here's a guy also that got an opportunity to hunt Africa.
Oh yeah.
It was a new concession,
Yep.
and they wanted an opinion on it. But you agreed to hunt there if you could spot and stalk.
Correct.
And so I was just so impressed because that's no easy deal in Africa, and everything's on crack because there's so many predators in that.
Yep.
And was able to kill a number of species, including really record book
Cape Buffalo.
Cape Buffalo,
Yep.
which you have mounted here. Is impressive dude.
Yeah.
And I know you were shooting 70 pounds at that time. For
Yeah,
these
I blew the
African
dust
animals?
off the old Palmer recurve again, because I felt I needed that little extra.
Yeah.
Like for the eland, these bigger animals, these 3,000-pound animals, the Cape Buffalo, things like that.
Yeah.
And then Danny was instrumental with building an arrow for me.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been probably the cheapest arrow you could ever build. It was just a GT arrow. And he ordered these straws to put on the inside of the
Had
arrow.
weight tubes, yeah.
They have weight tubes in it. I think when we were finally done, it was like 960 grains.
Yeah.
Had a brass insert up front and then a 300 grain cutthroat.
Nice.
Which, by the way, that outfitter's he's like, okay, I hope you don't mind getting phone calls because anybody that comes up to shoot a Cape Buffalo or an eland, they're going to use those what you call cutthroats because
Nice.
they perform so well. But they, yeah. So that what you're talking about as far as that concession, I didn't want to go visit another continent and hunt these animals looking out of a blind of a hole that big.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the continent. I wanted to see the country. I wanted to experience it. I wanted to see tracks. I wanted to bump animals. I wanted to sneak up animals. And nobody let you do that because of liability. They just
Right.
wouldn't let you do it. And so I just wasn't interested in doing it until I couldn't hunt no more. If I get to the point that I've hiked too much in Alaska and I have a hard time getting around, well, then I don't mind sitting in a blind.
Yeah.
And but when I got up there, it was so awesome. I got to hunt this concession where it hadn't been hunted before. It was a big concession, and I just had a tracker, which I think they're psychic how well they can track.
I've heard that about them.
Yeah, I can't hold a candle to them, not even a remote. On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't equal a 1. These guys are just, they're psychic. I don't know how they do what they do. But at any rate, I had him, and it was a way cool experience. We'd find these natural water holes that looked like had trails as wide as a sidewalk going through the jungle. You still had to get on your hands and knees, but you'd get to these things, and it was neat being at a water hole, seeing giraffe, seeing rhino, I saw leopard, and then every plains animal you could think of. So and herds of them. So animals you don't normally see in the zoo, I'm seeing totally in their element, totally
completely wild, natural water hole.
And I mean, I have nothing against the other way.
No, I mean, the guys that I talked to that do those hunts say it's the best thing they ever did.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against it. And we made some of our own self blinds. We just taking a saw out and making a blind as close to, the water had receded too much to where it had been too far of a shot.
Yeah.
And it was too much in the open. The water was receded too far, so the bank was 50 yards long before the water. So I couldn't hunt the water anyways. I just had to hunt a trail coming in to the water. So I just picked a trail where the wind was right and sit off of it and hope a herd of whatever use that trail.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind at all sitting at a blind. I mean, I enjoyed the heck out of it, just seeing so many different species.
Oh, man.
Doing the spot and stock, you would see an eland, you would see blue wildebeest, you'd see a Neala or whatever, then you go put a stalk on it, but you were seeing like one species, you were seeing, whatever.
Yeah.
When you sit at a watering hole, it was, besides hunting, it was also entertaining. It was just a wow factor, jaw-dropping, seeing those animals and just, and they die around water. That's where the leopards are waiting for them, no different than me off a trail. So they're on pins and needles.
Yeah.
And that's what I told the outfitter when we went back to his concession where he wanted to get into bow hunting, and he hated bow hunters. But the whole trend and all his competition was bow hunting. So he wanted to get into that. And he showed me one of his spots. It was 35 yards away from the water and the blind. And I go, well, you're too far away. He kept on complaining about they're jumping the string. I go, well, 35 yards away, they're going to jump the string. I mean, they're coming into water. That's when the animals, especially in Africa, are on pins and needles.
Right.
And so they're looking for any reason to turn inside out, as opposed to a trail coming into the blind, where they're a little more relaxed or whatever. So, but if you're hunting over water, you're way too far away.
Did you find that when you got away from the water, spot and stock was more like a normal animal that you might hunt here?
Absolutely. Very docile.
Okay.
More relying on their own elements regards to, it's a herd, so you got eyes looking every direction, and they lay butt to butt like a lot of sheep do and stuff. So they're just a lot more relaxed, but they do get up and move around because they know there are 3 or 4 buddies over there that are bedded down.
Yeah.
Will sound the alert if anything's going on. Well, then you got one that's 70, 80 yards away from everybody else that I'm sneaking up on, But
Gotcha.
but like what I told this
So
guy,
their primary is defenses their nose, just like an animal we hunt here, and get the wind right. It's doable.
yeah, it's doable. I did it. I mean, I shot at 11 different species. Well, 10 different species. I killed 2 blue wildebeest. And I shot the number 2 Neala, and I shot the Cape buffalo that they called helmet head. That Limpopo record, I don't know how he is in regards to the world, but South Africa, Limpopo area, he was, according to the outfitter, was the biggest one they had shot. And then I got number 5 sable.
Gee.
But I'm hunting deer and elk. I don't know what a big bull is.
Yeah.
I can usually judge a deer within 6-7 inches. I can judge an elk within 6-7 inches. I was at their mercy. I mean, it looked bigger and shit to me. And they're like, no, that's below grade.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't understand. I'm a bow hunter. I'm 20 yards from this thing. I can shoot him now. I don't care. And they're like, no, he's not. That's not our
the one that
grade.
we want you to take. Yeah.
And so it was really, really cool being in there in the woods with those things. And
I remember you telling me they held you off several Cape buffalo too.
Yeah.
That looked bigger than this dude you had.
The Cape buffalo I got, so it's kind of a cool deal. He broke out of this concession and went into native land. Native land was like 6 million acres. But the natives knew this guy, of this buffalo, and they gave the outfitter I was going through first right of refusal to go after him, because every outfitter around there wanted to get him. And they found him, and it was the day I was leaving, and I'd already had a bad argument with the outfitter because I was trying to get a Cape Buffalo for 3 days. And what they do is they drive around with one of those trackers on the front of the pickup, and they do about 5 miles an hour. All of a sudden, the guy will raise his hand up in the air, look down, and say, "Hey, this is a good buffalo."
Based on the track.
Based on the track.
Yeah.
And I'd go put my heel in the dirt, wiggle it back and forth, pull it out. I go, "Tell me the difference between that track and that track." You couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And they would just kind of just smile. And then every road was 2 miles by 2 miles by 2 miles. So then once it crossed the road and went into a 2 mile by 2 mile jungle, they would circle to make sure he was still in there. Then we'd go back to the original track, then we'd follow it. Well, the wind was to our back. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And we did that for 3 days. Like, okay, you've educated every single buffalo around here that we're after them.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. You guys are a bunch
We're
of
having an argument over it.
yeah. I was like, you guys are a bunch of this ain't gonna happen. And he got offended, and I don't mean to offend any he wasn't doing a very good job at it. He was just stupid. So he was hoping that, he goes, well, we always are hoping that they're going to take a hard left or a hard right, and then we'll be able to get
Then
on
you get
them.
a crosswind or whatever. Yeah.
And so at any rate, I didn't get to kill a kudu. I never did get to kill a kudu. So I go, I'm going kudu hunting my last day. He flies off with a helicopter. A helicopter picks him up an hour later. And I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? And that night he comes to my room after the helicopter brings him back, and he says, Harold, you got to stay. I'll pay your transfer fees. You need to stay here and kill this buffalo. I'm like, and he tells me a story how it broke out of his concession, and it's on native land. And he goes, I got people on retainer that will pay me 50 grand to go shoot this buffalo. And I'm like, well, then go call them.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't have any money. He goes, now I'm glad you mentioned money. He goes, if you killed it with me, I wanted the reputation of somebody with a stick bow killing a Cape Buffalo.
Yeah.
He goes, and I wasn't going to charge you. He goes, but the country of the native corporation says this thing's worth $8,000. That's what I got to pay. That's my price.
Yeah.
He goes, I'll split it with you. I go, I don't have $4,000. He goes, I'll pay your transfer fees. You can stay here, everything. I'm like, I don't have $4,000. But I had a Willys Jeep here that I've been fixing up, and I was going to, so I'm like, God, I could sell that. My wife, she's like, man, it sounds like a pretty good opportunity. And I'm like, do I get to do it my way? We don't walk with the wind to our back? He goes, no, this ain't gridded. This is 6 million acres of just open land. We'll do it your way.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. He goes, but there's one catch, you got to use a rifle. I'm like, well, then no deal.
I'm out. Yeah.
And he storms off. Comes back 20 minutes later, goes, okay, if they say if you're dumb enough to do it with a bow, that we will, they won't charge us $8,000 until we shoot one. Cool. So we get out there, and it took us like 3 days to find this herd. And we finally found them. And I got a picture of them. I don't know if Steve can integrate this thing in later. There's there's 9 bulls underneath this tree. And 2 bulls get up. This giant bull gets up. And he's walking by, and he's going to walk by 25 yards from me. I lock up, and I'm going to shoot. And the guy goes, you shoot this bull, you pay the whole $8,000, you pay your own transfer fees, you pay everything. I'm like, what? He goes, we're here for helmet bull. We're here for that one over there farthest to the right. You can't shoot this one. I go, it looks bigger to me. He goes, we're here for that one. Because everything is about the bosses. You look at the bosses on this one up here,
Yeah.
and everything's about the boss. I'm like, dang. So I'm thinking, God, what can I sell my Jeep for? I'll go ahead and pay the $8,000,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so he walks on. And then 2 days later, we get on him again. And the sun's coming up. And
It's taking 2 days to locate them again.
yeah. And well, to get them into archery. We always knew where they were after we found them
Okay.
the first day.
But you couldn't approach
I
for
couldn't approach
wind
them.
or whatever.
Yeah,
It took
I just-
2 days of backing
Which was
out.
driving these guys crazy. I go, they're in range with a rifle right now. Here's a rifle. I ain't shooting with a rifle.
Yeah. You're bow hunting. and
so-
that's what bow hunting takes.
So we had to camp on them, which made them really irritated.
Yeah.
And finally, they got into another situation. So I'm 60 yards from them, and they're all bedded down around this tree. And now they're fighting over shade. They're starting to push each other around. And they 2 get up. The one they wouldn't let me shoot 3 days prior or 2 days prior, and the one they wanted me to shoot got up together. And they're walking out, and I'm like, and I could tell they're going to be about 60 yards off, and I'm taking a guess where they're going to be. There's this other shade tree over there, and there's a tree between that's going to be that's not a shade tree, but it's big enough that I can climb in if they want to kill me, if I can get to it. So I'm throwing my bow in front of me, crawling up to it, throwing my bow in front of me, crawling up to it. And I finally get about 10 feet shy of the tree that I'm going to have to jump in if they don't like me. And the big bull that they wouldn't let me shoot earlier, 2 days earlier, saw me. And he's on the other side of the bull they wanted me to shoot. And he sees me, catches my movement, and he whirls to turn to leave. Well, the bull they wanted me to shoot was already on my side. I mean, he's all good. And they didn't want me to take a pure broadside shot. It had to be a little bit, because everything's up front.
A little bit quartered away.
Yeah, and their ribs, they always say they overlap. They don't overlap, but there's only like 3/8 of an inch of meat between the ribs.
Okay.
And when they turn towards you, that's when they do overlap.
Huh.
Because it just kind of makes like an accordion type thing. They
Right.
kind of will do that. And then when they kind of turn away, that's what the spreadest part they're going to be. Well, he saw his buddy leave, and he turned to look at him, which was like not quartered away, like almost broadside, just like one step, just
Yeah.
like an eighth of a way type thing.
Right.
And I shot, an arrow went in, I thought about 2 inches.
Yeah.
He's running off with my arrow bouncing out of him. It wasn't rigid, because if you hit the shoulder, it's sticking there solid. It's
Right.
stiff,
Yeah.
And it's just kind of flopping around. And then now the herd, they see it all, they get up. And then the outfitter, he's like 100 yards away, and he comes walking over, and he stops about 50 yards from me, and he's glassing, and he goes like this to me. And my packer, which was right behind me, he kind of catches up with me, and he goes, well, this is why I wanted you to shoot it with a rifle. Take a look at this. He hands me the binoculars. I look, and there's the bull chewing my arrow, chewing the arrow, looking right at us. And it's the bull that they
Like total insult.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And it's the bull they wouldn't let me shoot the day before. 2 days before.
Yeah.
He's chewing my arrow. I'm like, well, I don't know what the deal here is, but he either picked it off the ground or he pulled it out of that other bull. I didn't shoot that bull.
Yeah.
He goes, well, it was so dusty, I could tell you didn't have no penetration, but I really couldn't, caught up in I couldn't tell which bull it was. I just know you didn't get any penetration. And he goes, well, that's your bull now. You're going to have to use the rifle. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, what's the chance of me getting up on this thing now that I've already stuck him? And I'm going to have to pay the $8,000 regardless, because if it's drawn blood, you get it. It's your buffalo. And then about that time, the ass end of a buffalo come off. He'd been laying there dead the whole time anyways. And
You're still convinced you shot the wrong bull at this point.
no, I
You
shot
had-
he didn't. He thought I shot the wrong bull.
But he
it was
wanted you
chewing
to
my arrow.
shoot the wrong bull.
Yeah,
with
he
the
wanted me to
rifle.
shoot that bull.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then when my PH showed up, I mean my guide per se.
Yeah.
He didn't speak English, but he validated. No, he shot the right bull.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, what the hell's going on? We look over at the herd, and that's when we saw the ass of my bull come off the ground, and they were over there beating the shit out of him. And the bull they wouldn't let me shoot was chewing my arrow, and he was about 50 yards away from the main
So
herd.
they were hooking him and lifting him up.
lifting him up, just kicking the shit out of him. He
And
must
he's
have been
dead as a doornail.
Yeah. So now everybody's got to leave, and we can't get close to them because when they smell blood, they're just weird. So now everybody leaves, and they have to go.
You're getting away from the herd. These guys are all riled up.
I'm staying right there because
Yeah.
I do have a tree I can climb
But everybody
in.
else goes.
But everybody else leaves to go get the vehicles because there's no other way
Okay.
we can get this thing.
Okay.
So about 4 or 5 hours later, we hear the chainsaws coming, the vehicles are coming, and they're cutting down away, getting in there and stuff. And then the rest of the herd hears that, and they leave.
Move on. Okay.
And now I finally get to go see my bull. And I mean, it's just the wow factor is just insane.
Stunning. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're a 3,500 pound animal. It's just incredible. And then there was another bull about 100 yards off that was dragging intestines. And I go, holy cow, somebody needs to put that sucker down because he got hooked in all the fighting that they were doing.
Yeah.
And the tribal person that was with us says, $8,000, you can kill it. They have no value of life or suffering. They don't care.
Right.
They just don't care. $8,000 you can put out of his misery.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
otherwise, he's
Yeah.
just going to leave him.
Yeah, just-
And they left him.
Yeah, they left him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got my buffalo. Yeah.
Incredible. So what happened? Did it go in and come right back out?
That's what it did. And I sent Danny the pictures. They wanted some advertisement for your guys' broadhead. So what it did, it was really unique. You could see where it hit about a half inch from between the ribs. And instead of stabbing, it twisted. And when it did, it slid over to between the ribs.
Yeah. The single bevel just
Yeah,
twisted
it
right
just
through
twisted
there?
it right over there, and it went over and hit the ribs on the other side and bounced back out.
Yeah.
And that's what I
That's
was seeing.
incredible.
Yeah, and then when it hit the rib on the other side, it split it, you know. But it didn't have enough there to go in through it.
Yeah.
It already hit one rib going in, slow it down some.
Massive Cape Buffalo.
But
How
it-
thick are those ribs?
They're, I'd say, 3/4 of an inch thick.
Jeez, that's a
Insanely.
big bunch of bone
They
in
make
a
tools
rib.
out of them. I mean, I mean, they're
Yeah.
big rib, and there's no way if I would have dead centered that rib, who knows what that
Yeah.
cutthroat would have done then. I don't know it would have done a whole lot.
Right.
But
Out of a recurve.
But what was
70
unique
pounds.
about that single bevel is it hit and it rolled it, and because the rib is kind of rounded like this, it just followed the contour of that rib and found the space between the ribs
Yeah.
and blew completely over to the other side.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it was.
Amazing. And it was a quick death then.
Oh yeah, he went 60 yards and piled up.
Double lung.
Yeah.
That's honestly single bevels. I know they spin through tissue. It's got to gurgle their lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you double lung an animal with a single bevel, most of the time you see them fall.
Yeah.
They die really fast.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that's all about.
So, I mean, I got to do a couple safari hunts with him where they were hunting with rifles, and he just was blown away that it probably went
quick.
80 yards and he died.
Yeah.
I go, well, here's the difference. No matter what wildlife show you watch on TV, whether it's Disney or whatever, or Wild America, and you see a bunch of lions trying to kill a Cape buffalo.
Right.
There's 4 or 5 on their back, and the Cape buffalo's looking at the rest of the prize saying, hey, come on, I'll take all of you on. Their will to live and to fight
It's incredible.
is incredible. Where a zebra, they take it down, they're eating it while it's still alive because they go into shock.
Yeah.
They don't have no will. They lose it.
Right.
And I think that's nature's way of just keeping them from suffering. I mean, it's whatever, they go into shock. But a Cape buffalo, they're like, come on, you two over there, I'll take you too.
Yeah.
And so when you shoot them with a 600 grain bullet and it knocks the dust off them, they know something's really messed them up, and it puts them in that mode of fight and flight.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're so hard for rifle. I mean, the first shot's just that's when the hunt starts. Then they go find them again and find them again. Where this bow, it's like all of us bow hunters know, it's no different than when you're working with a razor blade, and next thing you know, you're like, well, where'd this blood come from? You don't remember, you don't feel cutting yourself, and because it's so you just don't feel nothing. So this buffalo, he knew he wasn't feeling good,
Yeah.
but he never felt that. He never had that flight or adrenaline rush to fight back or whatever. He just tipped over dead, you know.
And now your outfitter was impressed.
Oh, he's like, oh, okay,
He's
this.
blown away, right?
Yeah, he's like, and even with he goes, COVID-19 hit. Unfortunately, said I can come back there and kill as many and whatever I want to, if I would do some consulting how to set up his archery concession because I helped him a little bit with a couple of the ones he had.
Right.
It was the one I said was 35 yards away. He goes, well, how do I fix it? I go, well, have this be a cistern and dig 15 yards closer to the blind, re-emerge it, and put your bathtub here. Because all it was like a little bathtub they were filling with water.
Yeah.
And I go, and just cover this up.
Yeah.
And now it's 15 yards. So by the time I left, that was it. Everybody was fighting over that watering hole.
Sure.
They were killing the shit out of stuff because, not to say you still can't jump the string at 15 yards, but it's going to be way
And your
tougher.
shot's way more accurate.
He goes, yeah, and he goes, well, my compound guys, they're not going to like that close of a shot. I go, if a giant sable is 15, 20 yards away, or a giant and another one comes in that's the same size and he's standing out there 35 yards, which one you think your freaking bow hunter is going to shoot?
Yeah.
Your compound guy. He's going to shoot the 15-yard one. I go, so it doesn't make any difference. And he's like, well, zebras, they won't come in. They're nocturnal. I go, well, don't let them. I go, it's 3 feet by 3 feet. Put a tarp over it. Don't let them drink at night.
Yeah.
Make them come in during the day.
Yeah.
Make them do it. Well, they come in staring at the blind. You know, like you say, they're on edge all the time, and everything's their head-on shots. I'm like, don't let them drink head-on. Put some logs. You got timber all over the place. Make them where they have to come in broadside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, funnel them in. I go, but they're not bow hunters. They don't.
Right.
What's second nature to us? If we're hunting that watering hole and you're seeing, I'm like, you'd get out the blind, you go grab some stuff and move them over there.
Yeah.
Where he didn't. That wasn't logical. He thought I was like the smartest person in the world,
Yeah.
and I wasn't. I was just, this is what I would do if I was bow hunting here.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to come back, but COVID hit, and then that blew all
And
that
you
stuff
lost
up.
those opportunities.
Yeah.
That's too
So-
bad. Oh, that's just incredible stuff. More people need to know how lethal these bows are. Now you've hunted with one bow your whole life, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's one Palmer recurve.
Correct.
That's pretty much taken all your game with.
Yep. Everything in this room is killed with by Palmer.
Incredible.
Yeah. I've got one other set of limbs that are 56-pound limbs that he got me when I had to have my shoulder operation. But I can only think of 2 animals in here I shot with my 56-pound limbs. Everything else is with the 70. That tells you how old some of this taxidermy is.
Yeah.
So
Do you know how many of the big game species in North America you've taken?
21 of the 29.
21.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have any desire to go after the other ones?
I do, but they're all the big money stuff.
Yeah.
This is where it
It's
stops
the
for me.
average guy, yeah.
I mean, I still need like the woodland caribou and the mountain caribou. I've got the other 3, but those, when I was hunting the other 3, the Quebec Labrador, the Barren Ground, were $2,500 hunts.
Right.
And so were they. Now those are $25,000, $30,000.
Oh my gosh.
It's just out of sight. I mean, I was able to get my Dall sheep from guiding, and just working it off in labor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I never could have afforded it either. I could afford the blue collar guy, and that's what, me and Jonah have talked about this before, is our quality hunter has gone not as good as it used to be. Because now the people that can afford it are rich guys.
Yeah.
And rich guys doesn't mean you're a good hunter. It just means you can afford the hunt.
Yeah.
So our quality hunters have gone way down. So back in the day where you're a guy that's a blue collar guy and he's saving his money, he's telling his family and his friends.
You work hard, you're on the tools, you're in shape.
Yeah, all that. And he's telling his family and friends, hey, come my birthday, come Christmas, don't give me gifts. Put a $20 bill on a Christmas card for me. I'm saving to go to Alaska. He saves his whole life. His dreams come true. He always spends his vacation with his wife and his 3 kids. But now he's got the biggest fan core of all. His family, they say, Dad, you finally got the money. You're going on this sheep hunt. So that kind of guy, there's nothing you won't do for as a guide.
I bet you work your tail off for those guys.
And those guys, there's nothing they won't do for you.
Yeah.
And we were like 100% successful. I mean, it was just good. Now
Nice.
that personality has changed to where the blue collar guy can't save $40,000 to go on a sheep hunt. He can't do that. So now you're getting the guys that can afford it, but like I said, it doesn't mean they're hunters. In a lot of cases, they're not.
Yeah.
It's just a nostalgia thing for them. And Jonah's really good about policing some of these guys, most of these guys, and we got a pretty solid core of hunters and guides. I mean, all stellar guides he has, but he does his homework. He tells people no. I mean, there's some of these people you couldn't fit in a super cub. It's just that kind of deal. So our quality hunter's gone down. So our success rates have gone down, but it's not because of the animals. Right. Yeah, the sheep have taken a hit, winter kill, 4 or 5 years ago, but not to the point that it's not any different than any other time that the sheep took a winter kill. They're always there.
Cycles.
It's just a cycle.
Yeah.
And they replenish, and it all goes good. And but our numbers went down, but it wasn't because of any kind of winter kill or any kind of die off. It was because our quality of hunters is dissipated enough that I think we're seeing a percentage of that's the reason why we're not as successful. So,
right.
And you see it in the lower 48 too, some of these high-end hunts, and you see some of the people with the ability of the hunt forums, like we were talking earlier of us looking at 7-minute maps 30 years ago, topo maps, going down to the Fed Center and getting our topo maps and sitting down with a little 4-inch ruler and our compass and doing latitude and longitude and figuring out where you want to go based on lines on a map and intermittent streams on a map. I couldn't do Google Earth. I couldn't see what it looked like. I had to be boots on the ground to see what it looked like. Yeah. And I really got good at reading maps without being on the mountain, on how many faults. Like, man, this, according to the map, this is an intermittent stream. This should be a boggy area. It should be good for elk. I'd go in there, and I don't know why the map said it was an intermittent stream because there was nothing there. But you ended up, that's how we had to do it back in the day.
That's where you found a wallow.
Yeah, that's how you found stuff.
You got North Slope on a saddle. There was just features like that you look. Tommy, do you remember being a high school kid and meeting Harold and looking at his trophy book?
No, I was in college when that happened.
Okay, so you were in college for a while when we first got
high
to know.
school.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about the friendship we've had for a heck of a lot of years. And, Harold's been the guy, right? He's been the guy that you like. You try to emulate as much as possible. It's impossible, but that's the guy that we've always
appreciate the
respected
words.
so much. You know,
I know Tommy labeled me in some of the postings he put as like one of the better bow
best
hunters you'll
hunters
see
that nobody knows.
that nobody knows about, and that's always been by design. It's funny on some of these guided hunts I do, where everybody's got $1,000 Sitka outfit on, $1,000 Kuyu outfit on, and it's a video hunt.
Yeah.
And now I'm supposed to be in the video, and I'm cramping their styles because I still have my flannel shirt and my fatigues that I got at the Army surplus, and they're like,
Yeah.
"You're cramping our style." So a lot of the good clothes I got,
They give it to you.
They give it to me
for the film.
Yeah, for the film. I don't get no sponsorships. I don't, it's. I'm not saying that I don't. I do this podcast. I enjoy doing them. I did them with Aaron Snyder. Enjoyed doing them. I've done them with Stick Bow Chronicles. I've done them with the Stick Boys. I've done them with other places. This is fun. Common camaraderie with guys that hunt with a stick and a string. Yeah. And but as far as popularity, people are like, God, all the stuff you've done, all these guys are they're getting paid to go hunting. Fred Eichler said, man, with the stuff you got going, man, he goes, you need to get serious. And because I get paid to go. Yeah. And I just don't have the personality for that. I don't know. It's been by design.
Do it for the love. You're like Danny. Danny's very private. He is an unbelievable hunter.
We all know that. Yeah, he's
amazing things.
Hunter.
He doesn't want the attention. He does it for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, we want him to be the poster boy for RMS gear, but that's not what he desires. He doesn't desire, that spotlight or notoriety. That's not the reason you guys do it.
Right. We talked earlier. I got a photo album here, and everything in here is in it, but it's all self-timers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everything,
mostly alone.
And this is film. It's the pictures I have on my phone are pictures of pictures because
right.
I didn't get a cell phone until like 2.5 years ago. We didn't have a cell tower here, so they didn't work at my house.
Yeah.
It's a tight canyon. What I do for a living is in the middle of nowhere, so they don't work there. But the damn camera in these things are better than the 3-pound camera I was carrying.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, best of all worlds here. So.
And you still don't use Google Earth.
I don't know how to. Danny, I just blown away every time I go down there, and he'll start doing overlapping and 3D image and look from the north, look from the south. I'm like, and I know Tommy's the same way. It's
yeah, he is.
How the heck? Technology is. I'm old school, which is why my body's worn.
I think my boys, Tommy, we went to the Fed Center and got maps. I mean, you guys were just old enough to have learned that system of navigation and seeing what the country was all about.
You can hunt a lot smarter now than we did before.
Yeah, it's kind of why we loved Google Earth so much, is because we already loved maps,
Yeah.
And so when Google Earth came out, we jumped on it because we enjoyed maps. We liked mapping,
Yeah.
But now with everything that's out there, I don't know, it's taken away a lot. I don't like it.
Yeah, the old school. I mean, I don't know. I need to learn technology, and I could hunt a lot smarter if I did. I could, by the time I find a spot the old school way, I've already got 10 miles where I could have made it a mile if I just knew Google Earth.
Yeah.
And that's the other reason I got a phone. A friend of mine would say, hey, here's a pin. Will you help me pack out this elk? I go, what's a pin?
Yeah.
He goes, you don't have Hunt Onyx? I'm like, what's Hunt Onyx? And he goes, well, how are you going to help me? I go, well, just tell me what drainage you're in, I'll figure it out. And, by grabbing my map, But he goes, no. He goes, you need to get Hunt Onyx. I'll drop you a pin, and it'll bring you right to me. And I'm like, holy shit, this stuff's pretty damn cool. It's pretty darn nice.
It's a tremendous tool.
And and some of my best hunting spots have been because I was lost because I couldn't find my camp. So now I can put a pin where my camp's at, and I probably won't.
In the dark, get back to it really easy.
Yeah. So it kind of helps
night.
too. So.
Yeah, when we started hunting, there wasn't the internet.
No.
There wasn't hunting shows. I mean, the Fred Bear videos and the Old American Sportsman show were what motivated me to be a bow hunter. Mm-hmm. We had to learn it by our mistakes. But honestly, do you ever feel like sometimes you kind of long for the mystery of it? Back when we started, everything was such a mystery. Mm-hmm. And when you discovered things, it was so cool.
Yeah.
And I think that younger guys don't have that advantage of having the mystery of it all. And it's all laid out for them.
Yeah, the young people and the new hunters of today, when we were hunting, you bought a deer tag and you hunted the whole state of Colorado. There was no units for archery
Right.
deer tags.
You can go anywhere you want.
There was, and I have an old hunt nap, brochure, and I think it's 1992, I think it is. There was only like 11 elk units you had to put in for. You still hunt the rest of the state, so 90% of the state you could hunt with an over-the-counter tag for archery. Rifle, they still had the units.
Yeah.
And then they changed all that, and
So
so
if you backpack, you saw nobody up there with you.
no. And the main thing I'm getting at is when you said the mystery of it all. I purposely never hunted the same place twice. Like holy shit, you shot a 180-inch mule deer. Are you going to go back? I should. I know it like the back of my hand now, and I know there are deer there. But man,
You're seeking the mystery
but
again.
I'm going to try somewhere new.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Nice.
that was my goal to keep the mojo going in regards of something new and doing something different every year in a whole new spot, even though I already knew where to go. And in a pinch, if that new spot wasn't good, I always had a plan B of where I went, where I knew was good.
Yeah.
It was always a plan B. But once you got that first one under your belt, that was always your plan B. Then you could go explore the state of Colorado and hunt somewhere different every single year.
Yeah.
And if it didn't pan out, you always had your plan B where you knew they were at.
Right.
And these guys all missed that. Now you got to put in 4 or 5 years a unit that you
To get a decent unit. Yeah.
get a decent unit,
Without a whole bunch of other people.
and you got all your eggs in one basket, whether they're there or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a little tougher now than
that's
it was.
changed. So I'm so glad I was born when I was, and got to do what I did, and got the trophies I did and the experiences I did, because at the age I'm at now, 63 years old, the next tag I draw, and I put in for every state that has a preference point system. The next tag I draw will be my once in a lifetime tag. I'll never have enough points to draw that tag again.
Right.
It'll never happen. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It'll never happen.
Yeah.
I'm a max point holder in Arizona for desert sheep, and I should be able to draw a desert sheep tag. So I'll have 3 of the 4.
Nice.
Assuming I'll get a desert sheep.
Yeah.
And then I can start putting in for the 3/4 draws that a lot of these places have. You got to have 3 of the 4, and then if they pull your name out of the hat, then they'll pay for a hunt for the one you don't have. So if I ever get a Grand Slam, it will be the cheapest Grand Slam on record.
ever got, yeah.
Because it's all would have been on labor, drawn my own tags, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, Tommy, you're 43 now. You've seen the changes in your lifetime as a younger man. That's for sure.
I'm bummed about it. Honestly, I just kind of try not to talk about it too much, because otherwise all I would do is complain. But it's funny, you guys were talking about the mystery. I purposely don't use those cell phone trail cameras when we're deer hunting, because I don't want my boys to know. Right?
Mhm.
I was sitting in a tree stand last year, and a buddy that I know that hunts the same woods was like, "Hey, there's a buck coming your way." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Where are you sitting?" He's like, "Oh, I'm at work right now." And 2 minutes later, a buck walked right underneath me. And I was like, "Don't tell me. I don't want to know." You know? So I have purposely stayed away from that stuff just so that my boys get to experience the mystery, because I don't know a better way to put it than that.
Yeah.
No,
like when we were growing up, we were skipping school to go elk hunting, and every morning it wasn't like, "Hey, let's go up this ridge and then walk around there." It was more like, we're just going to stand right here until sunrise, and then we're just going to chase the bull that sounds the hottest. You know what I mean? It wasn't there was elk everywhere. They were all screaming their heads off. There were leftover tags. And yeah, I'm 43 right now. I haven't hunted that spot for 5 years. I should draw in the next year or 2. And that will be the only time that I get to hunt that area in my 40s. Luckily that Colorado has made it easier for kids to get tags with the second draw and that sort of thing. And so my boys have been able to get some good elk hunts in. But it bums me out. I'm bummed.
Yeah. I mean, my grandsons are as valuable to me as you guys were, and I'm sad that they won't have the opportunity to see what I've seen and you guys have seen.
Yeah, me too.
I hope we get to experience some of that before it changes.
And you guys were talking. I don't know if we were recording. When I was trying to get set up, you guys were talking about parking in the parking lot in that mountain range.
Yeah.
And there's 17 cars, and 15 of them are from out of state. And that's the absolute truth. Harold told a story that it's the same story I always tell. We used to see guys back in those back basins where we'd spend a lot of time getting in there. And if we saw a guy back there, it was like, hell yeah, good for you, good luck. Because we knew what it took to get back there and how he had to have found that place. But now there's, three tents every year in the honey hole in that basin. And it's guys that have never elk hunted before. I have no idea how they find it, but it's overrun.
Yeah.
So I don't know, the technology and Google Earth, that stuff was really fun when it first came out, and we were all over it because, like I said, we loved mapping, we liked navigating, and so when that came out, that was fun. But I think it's overdone it now, and it's I don't know. Like I said, I could be pretty pessimistic and complain about it, so I try not to do that because there's still a lot to enjoy. It's not like it's all gone.
You're exactly right. Like Jason Carter from Epic Outdoors, he interviewed me. And matter of fact, he got 10 pages dedicated to me in one of their catalogs, one of their magazines. And he was honest about it. I did a podcast with him where I called in, kind of like you are now. And he goes, well, what do you think's hurt the industry the most? I go, you. Guys like you, these hunt forums, the internet, the people with everybody, these people that think they're hunters. A guy got out and got lucky, shot a 200-inch mule deer, but he wants to be able to tell Garth Carter, Jason Carter, Fred Eichler, anybody else that's famous out there, Chuck Adams or whatever. They want Randy Olmers. They want to be like, hey, I want to be the champion of telling all these people where I shot this 200-inch buck. Well, now that same guy's like, well, shit, now I can't even get a tag there no more. There's tons of people there. And the point creep went from one point, I could draw it every other year, to now I can never draw it again, maybe every 5 years. But the biggest thing that's hurt it is everybody wants to be the hero of the day for everybody out there on these hunt forums. They want to be able to say, well, here's a pin exactly where you need to be. Here's my glassing knob. Here's this. And they give it to the whole world. Then it gets posted on these hunt forums. And then these guys go up there and they get on this glassing knob and they're sharing it with a half dozen people. You know?
Ruins the experience for everybody.
And then the animals that have called this home, they've called it home for some educated hunters that knew when to bump them, knew when not to bump them, knew when to back out, and knew when the opportunity was there and you better take advantage of it. But they left it alone, and those elk could always call that home. Well, now with all these people that don't have the experience to back out, they just like, holy shit, now it's a foot race. I got to get there before those guys over there get there. And I don't know where those guys that pulled in before me are going. So if I see an elk or I see a deer, I better get there right now. So now it's, to me, I don't call that fun. It's like, and now the deer and elk are in different spots. You've never seen them before. They're not at the normal spots anymore because people don't know better and don't know when to back out, and they can't handle that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
The places we found were remote, and they never experienced that pressure. Well, deer and elk don't like it. They don't get used to it. They don't.
Yeah. And my hopes are there'll be some guys that, they're newer to it here in this game and hear this kind of talk and start considering this stuff, and they're going to be more successful if they're willing to wait a day and just watch them when the wind's bad. And
someone needs to post something about hunter ethic too. We talked about it a little bit earlier where I lost our friendship because I wanted a guy to kill his first elk. I took him to my honey hole. And I said, hey, keep this close to your chest. I don't want to be I'll sound like a real jerk to anybody, but when you work as hard as we work for our spots, you're real selective on who you take there. It's a real trust factor. And there's so many people that they don't know the hunter ethic part of it. They don't even know better. They don't know that they've stepped on somebody's toes. They don't even know like, oh man, I didn't mean to get you all bent out of shape out here.
We need to, softly educate them, I suppose.
Like, it's national forest. I thought anybody could go. It's like, yeah, but you wouldn't even know about it unless I told you. I mean, so yeah, it is national forest, but man, I told you to keep this close to your chest, and there was a reason for that, and they just don't have the hunter ethic. I would never go to a spot that somebody took me.
I will never ask somebody. We never ask somebody where they're hunting because if we happen to show up there, we don't want them to think we jumped their spot. I don't want to know.
Yeah. So
I don't ask what unit they're in unless it's a once in a something tag, and that's all public information as far as I'm concerned.
Right. It's things like sheep, things like stuff like that, where it's once in a lifetime. I've never not picked up my phone and done everything I could for anybody, including, I have Randy Ulmer, Danny. I mean, anybody that's had that tag. I've helped 2 people this year.
Yeah.
In fact, the sheep's out there in the bucket that I just helped a guy get just 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
Just walking him to it, just telling him my spots where I know he's going to
Yeah.
see sheep. He's panicking up on the house. He's in reaching me. He's like, man, I'm right where you told me to be. I go, you're too high. You're too high. You need to go further. He goes, man, I'm going to lose all my altitude. Do you want to find sheep or not? He goes, holy shit, you're right. They were in the trees.
Yeah.
So it is. It would be nice for people to just have some hunter ethics. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to be so tight-lipped about stuff. You just kind of would know that person knows.
Yeah, it's a, guys,
It's
if
a
you're not
delicate
used
spot.
to this, it's a touchy question to say, where are you hunting this year? That's a touchy question
Yeah.
because, especially in a position like you or me or my boys, because everybody wants to know and everybody wants to hunt there too.
Yeah.
And it's just going to overcrowd the place for everybody if we tell people.
People in your industry where you're selling bows and arrows to these people, you want them to be successful.
Yeah, I do.
And one of the and you could probably really dial them into a really good spot.
Yeah.
But part of being successful is finding your own spots.
It's a little satisfaction level
and
for sure.
the satisfaction. So you walk up, you shoot your first buck, and did it all yourself. You fletched your own arrows.
I
You
earned this
did
thing.
everything. You earned it, and to have it cut off short because you went to your buddy's hunting spot to go do it, and he probably ain't gonna like you being there.
I don't know how people could feel good about that.
No, or trespassing,
Yeah.
those kind of things. It just kind of takes you don't want to look over your shoulder for anything. You want to just be
Just do it right.
full on. So
Yeah.
You have more. It's not just that there's satisfaction in doing it yourself, but it robs you of part of the experience too. We were talking about this last year, 2 years ago, when we were elk hunting, and we were in an area. We hunted the same area for my whole childhood, right? From when I could get a tag at 13 up until I got back from college. We were able to hunt that area most years. And we were just talking about it because we were in an area and it was like they always travel through here in the late morning. And I was saying when I was a kid, that's all seemed random to me. I didn't put it together that the elk were in an area at a certain time of the day for any particular reason. It just felt like luck, where my brother he put all that together right away. He just knew intuitively what they were doing and where they were going. But when you find those good spots, it is the experience of being on the ground, viewing the animal behavior, getting to know their patterns, what they do, and why that spot is a good spot, right? And if someone just gives you a pin, you missed all that. You have no idea. You don't know the elk any better. You don't know the country any better if you're just going to a spot on a map that someone told you about. So you're robbing yourself of too much if you're just if you're just hunting that way.
yeah. Shortcuts doesn't always mean it's a good thing. And that's a shortcut. Somebody drops you a pin, they've saved you hours and hours looking at maps. They've saved you hours sitting in front of the computer
50 miles on your
you
feet.
draw, and you're on Google Earth. They're saving you hours and hours. Like, hey, turn off your computer. Here's a pin. They're robbing you of all that. And to me, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
I mean, I had 10 hours of staring until my eyeballs bleeded on my Hunt Onyx or Google Earth, and man, was I rewarded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Put those hours on your feet.
yeah,
That's
another
awesome.
thing.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been such a pleasure, and I so much appreciate you doing this, and love to do it again sometime.
Oh,
Because
yeah, anytime
this
ever.
man has an amazing lifetime of hunting, and there's so much knowledge to gain, and we do like sharing our knowledge and our tactics and cutting a learning curve that way. That's for dang sure.
Yeah, maybe next
I
time we'll
do.
talk about a little bit about deer, elk, antelope, sheep
love
hunting,
that.
that kind of stuff.
I would
And
love that.
that's always fun too. I mean, the bear stories can be exciting and kind of like, holy cow, that was a close call. But it's unique to talk about just our. I call it like sitting around a campfire, just talking about your stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm all ears. I mean, we've always been with. There's something to learn from everybody, but when you get a man like this to learn from, it's pretty special.
I appreciate that.
It's pretty special.
I gotta say this too. When I tuck my kids into bed, my girls are still pretty young, and they always have questions and that sort of thing. So I was drawing bedtime, and I like it. but a common question from my oldest daughter is she says, "Do you have any new Harold stories?" In my house.
That is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got great, we've got to live vicariously through Harold's adventures for a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately,
And,
a lot of us goes. It sounds like I'm accident prone. This weird shit happens to me. I was breaking something, twisting something.
You've healed some. Well, those are time for another webcast. But
Yeah.
it's such a pleasure to be able to expose
Absolutely.
you to other people, and as the best hunter, not too many people know about. I mean, there should be a book. There should be a book. I know that's not in your plans, but these adventures you've had and these experiences are unlike most everybody in the world. And appreciate being your friend and
I value the
being able
friendship
to-
very much.
Thank you,
With
buddy.
the whole shop.
Tommy, anything else before we wrap her up from you?
There's so many things that I could ask or talk about, but no, I think that's a pretty well. There is one more thing I do want to say, because we were talking about how long we've known Harold and that sort of thing. I knew of Harold for much longer than I knew Harold, because he was just another guy in the area that would come in and get a string or get some points. Never said a word about anything. We knew him as a customer, but didn't know anything about his accomplishments. And I think Dan asked you. You came in with a real beat up string one time, and Dan said, "Did you do any good hunting this season?" And the answer was like, yeah, I killed a 350-inch bull, 330-inch bull, a Dall sheep, and a moose. And my brother was like, "Oh, really? Yeah." You got any pictures? And you're
I
like,
think
"Yeah,
that was it.
I'll be right back." And came in and gave my brother that photo album, and it was just like moose, 180 whitetail, 200-inch mule deer, grizzly bear, giant bull, and it was just page after page. And my he goes, "Who are you?" But but the point was, like, there are so many good hunters. The area that we grew up in, like Arvada, Colorado. It's unbelievable how many incredible hunters came out of that area, and you'll never see them on Instagram.
Yep.
You won't even know they're hunters, and if you stepped in their house and looked around, you'd be shocked. Like, are you kidding me? And I don't know. There's still a lot of guys out there like that we would never know about. But it was humbling to me because I thought that I was, a big hunter, and then I started meeting all these guys. And it was I don't know another word besides humbling. I was like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut from now on.
Yeah, there's always another level.
And you never quit learning. I mean, here I'm 63 years old, and I've trained a lot of guides. And a lot of guys think they're wearing, they got an S on their chest, like they're the superhero. And they can really, some clients that works with, some clients it doesn't. It's like, hey, here you're guiding a guy he needs a Dall sheep for his Grand Slam. He's killed the other 3. He's 1 sheep away from the Super Slam. And you're not going to show him nothing. He has to have you as a guide, Jonah as an outfitter, to make it legal. Believe me, if it wasn't the state law that you got to have a guide to hunt sheep in Alaska, he would not be using you. He knows how to do this.
Yeah.
So you need to take this guy that you're rubbing shoulders with, you're glassing the same mountain, you need to pick his brain. Because every year, whether it's a person with a lot of experience or not hardly any at all, he's got a gadget. I'm like, where the heck did you get that? And it's something that's going to make my life so much more easier that I didn't even know was out there. Yeah. Or a way that he picks a mountain apart optic-wise. Or just the vegetation. He's like, this here, if you ever got a bug bite, you can go ahead and take this, hit it with a rock, and smash it up. And he goes, this is really good for bug bites. Something that simple, but every year I learn something
Or a hunting tactic.
from my clients.
Yeah.
And I typically get all the bow hunters. And the stuff I've learned, I soak it up like a sponge, where the guy, I'm like, well, Harold, what do you think? How would you approach this? Well, about an hour from now, the thermals are going to change. So I think, I don't think you got an hour to get down there. And he goes, yeah, but if the thermals are going to change, wouldn't it be a good idea to skirt this? And I'm like, shit, I never would have thought about that. I mean, you never quit. You don't shut yourself off because you're
the man.
You're
You're a
the
good
man.
hunting partner.
Yeah. It's just you soak it up like a sponge. It doesn't matter the quality or the caliber or the experience of the person you're with. That one little person, no different with wrestling. You could take this guy out there that's 0-30, and he ends up pinning your freaking most awesome guy, because he had that one move.
Yeah.
He just never got to use it because everybody kept pinning him before he got to use it. But finally, it's no different with. I never shut it off to anybody, and I always, with all my clients, I'm like, after we dissect a hill, like, okay, there's no sheep over there, and I go, well, it's trade places, and we trade places, and we're glassing, and then all of a sudden they found a sheep where I should have picked one up. Now, whether maybe he was bedded down, I couldn't see him, and they're like, holy shit, there's one right here in front of God and everybody. He's right there. I'm like, well, he wasn't there before, but at any rate, but it's also humbling to just pat people on the back, let them know. I tell Jonah, he's the one that glassed it. He's the one that found it. I didn't. I looked at that mountain for an hour and I didn't see it, and he found it. So it's how good it makes people feel, how you feel when people give you compliments. So never shut it off. It makes the other people feel just as good to get compliments from you, especially with somebody that's got experience, especially somebody that has an archery shop, especially somebody that's gone through a ton of bows and knows everything out there. It's just give compliments. Compliments will bring people back all the time, and you'll have friends everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So,
Encouragement.
so
Awesome.
all right, guys. Well, I really appreciate this.
friend,
This was
thank
awesome.
you. Thank
and
you.
we'll do it again.
Yes, we will.